Good morning, people of Earth. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. And I want to address a question I got today from actually somebody going through our 6-week intensive program called the Groundswell Method Intensive. And the question was, how vulnerable do I be? There's a lot of things in my past that are vulnerable. There are times when you share that may include people you know and they could see your content, right? Like maybe it's family members or friends. How far into the description of an event and being transparent in your content do you go, risking that your friends and family might see you calling them out, right? Or have them feel embarrassed, have them feel exposed. Like how much is too much? How vulnerable is too vulnerable? How transparent is too transparent? So I want to explore this with you. I don't have a script in front of me to give you this answer, but let's start with the premise here. The premise of all of this type of content is that transparency, the more transparent you are, the more you give your audience permission to be transparent as well. And it's in that transparency that sets people free. So the more transparent you are, the more others can feel set free, right? So, let's go down this road for a minute. Now I'm feeling nervous. I'm nervous with this conversation, right? So there are a lot of women who have had sexual assault in their life, and that is a very sensitive subject, yes? So and your ability to set others free who have had a similar experience, it doesn't mean you have to, obviously you don't have to get descriptive about the experience, yes? That's not required to set people free. And to the degree that you feel empowered or to the degree that you own that experience, yes? Like that you've moved on and it's been redeemed for something, and you feel a sense of, this is who I am, and you don't feel oppressed by that. This is very hard as a man to talk about the subject, right? Your strength, let's say it this way, your strength that comes from your life experience, regardless of whatever that experience was, gives us hope, if we've had a similar experience, that there is life beyond this experience, right? So it starts to get down to how do you share that in a way that is constructive and not concerning? What we don't want to do in content is create content that leaves people with concern, because that's not constructive. That doesn't set us free. That actually adds to our imprisonment, right? So the whole goal here in sharing transparently is that you need to start to, or you need to share from a place that, one, you feel empowered to share from. You never share from a place that you do not feel empowered in. Two, you share from a place that will set others free. And so you have to start to use your own judgment about how much detail you add in your content. You don't want to be so generic that people are confused or can't find themselves in your story. They can't find themselves in your content. You need to be specific enough that people feel like you get them. See, here's the deal. Like when you share generically, people are like, well, that's nice for you, but you don't know the depths or the shadows I've been in. You don't know the hell I've been in. So when you share it really safe, like, I think that's nice for you, but you don't get me, right? So that takes me actually to the next thought, which is like, this really depends on who your audience is. If your audience is somebody who has wrestled specifically with the thing you wrestled with, that's your conversation, right? If it's sexual assault, which is the example I gave earlier, and you feel called to really set people free who have had that experience, then it does serve your audience to speak directly to that experience, and you don't need to share all the details, yes? But for you to say like, for you to water down, for you to use an an example that isn't that, for you to use an example that isn't sexual assault, if you're speaking to people who have had sexual assault and that's who you're trying to set free, then to use an example that isn't that actually doesn't serve them because they are going to be left with, you don't get me. Like, that's great for you. I love your little story, but you don't know the hell I've been in. So all that to say, like, you have to use judgment. You have to use discernment for what is the right amount of transparency and vulnerability here? What would serve my people? And how can and what level of vulnerability can I share from that still has me feel empowered to share? Because if you're not complete with those experiences in life and you start to share and it takes you to a dark place, then the share isn't constructive. The share now becomes concerning. So, guys, this is such a real conversation right here, right? Because again, like, there's a lot at stake in your content. The kind of marketing I want to encourage in the world is the kind of marketing that sets people free. And it's only in transparency and vulnerability that you set others free. It's only when you come out from behind your mask that others feel free to come out from behind their mask. That is freedom. And there's a lot at stake here when you are sharing transparently and others then feel free to share transparently. There's a ton at stake. I get it. And it can be scary. And so that's why you have to start to decide what feels safe. Always share from a place of feeling safe. Never share from a place of feeling like I can't handle what I'm about to say. And then you just have to, if it helps you to write it out, start there. And then just know that your heart is in the right place. Your heart, if you're sharing from a place of setting others free, then your heart is in a good place. And that can go a long way in helping you reconcile that the people that you feel like might feel exposed, friends and family members, or people who feel like you're oversharing on social media, at least you'll be able to deal with their pushback when you start to share vulnerably. Guys, there is no agreement in the world for you to share vulnerably because nobody else in the world wants to have to deal with their own vulnerability. Nobody wants to deal with their own shadow. So when you start to share vulnerably, you're going to get comments and messages that are like, "Are you okay? Oh, I mean, I feel so bad for you." People are going to want to save you. People are going to show concern for you. And it's all of that is because they don't want to deal with their own shadow. It's easier for them to rescue you than it is for them to deal with the conversation you're leading. But I bring that up because if you can be at peace with your heart in the matter, like why you're doing this, then you can actually hang in the conversation and stand your ground for the people you're setting free and the reason why you're sharing so transparently and vulnerably. So, I'll leave you with this. I think it would be interesting to begin to explore pushing your own boundaries for what you share, right? What you share. Start to stretch yourself in sharing more vulnerably. Always feeling safe, always feeling in control, never sharing beyond what you don't want to share, and challenge yourself a little bit because the more you share vulnerably, the more you set your people free, the more you set your tribe free. So, there you go. There you have it, gang. Thanks for hanging out with me today in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Until tomorrow, when we go live again, have a great day.